Coming up, it's all about you again.
You're listening to Double Tap, your daily accessible technology show. Now, here's your hosts, Steven Scott and Shaun Priest.
Hello, Shaun Priest. How are you today?
Steven Scott, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling good today. Well, I'll be honest, I could be a little bit more awake if I'm honest with you.
I did feel you were overcompensating a little bit with coming up. It was very loud, Steven Scott. You were always yelling at us. Yeah, I don't want to criticise, but it was terrible.
Oh, why not? Everyone else does. No, do you know what it is? I slept well last night. I had a good sleep, but I did do something before I went to sleep last night for the first time in a long time, and I did it alone. And I feel the need to share, Shaun Priest, because this is a big moment for me. As a man in his mid-40s, I think it's time to open up to the realities. We talk a lot about our lives and our things we do in our spare time, and I I want to open up and share what I did last night in my bed, alone, for the first time in many years.
See, I'm leaving this silence on purpose, because you should be digging your own hole here.
What do you think I'm going to say?
I have no...
Will I tell you?
Like our listeners now, I'm terrified to even think. Okay, Steven Scott, what did you do last night for the first time on your own in bed?
I listened to an audiobook.
No way!
I know!
Oh!
I know!
Well done! Okay, what was it?
You sound surprised.
I am incredibly surprised.
I think you're relieved by the sound of it as well.
I've never... God bless you, Mr. F. I tried. I've never once heard you listen to an audiobook, I don't think.
No, I haven't. Well, okay, I have tried, but never really succeeded. And I was going through my, I think it was X or Mastodon or something last night, and someone had posted, I love the guy called Steve. I'm not going to pretend to say his second name because... well, not pretend to. I'm not even going to try, I should say.
Yes,
because,
you would butcher it.
I would butcher it, yeah. So, I love the guy called Steve. He posts regularly about books that he's reading. And one of them was called The Tapes. Now, don't ask me who it's by, because now I just realised I should have remembered who the author was, so people can go find it. But,
so you fell asleep last night listening to the book, obviously?
I did. So I immediately jumped onto Audible, and there it was. And I downloaded it and listened to it on my Echo last night. And it was rather interesting. It's a story about a girl. She goes into her loft, a bit like myself. But instead of finding what I find, which is just an inordinate amount of computers and keyboards,
yes.
She found a box full of cassette tapes from her long-past mother.
Oh, ... Oh, is there anything better than finding... Oh, yeah, well done. ...
There we go. ...
Is there, is there anything better than finding an old cassette tape? I mean,
well, depends what's on it, I guess.
I bet you've got old cassette tapes of you being Mr. Child DJ.
We are not going there. We are not going there. No. Trust me.
I bet you have.
Those tapes are under lock and key. I mean, I will say this. Equally as horrifying as what I had in that book last night, for different reasons. But no, it's a good book. Check it out. Good. Just look up The Tapes. I'm sure you'll find it in a book player near you. That's good.
Never mind the first for you. That's the first for Double Tap, an audiobook recommendation
review.
From
I know.
Steven Scott.
We're going to be taking over My Life in Books by Red Cell. Red, I hope you're not put out by this because we're doing this, or perhaps the wonderful team at AMI Audiobook Review. They'll be saying, "Hang on a minute, what's Steven doing here? Talking about books, he's encroaching on our space."
Yeah, just stay in your lane, Steven Scott. Check out My Life in Books, the podcast. It's very, very good with Red Cell.
And AMI Audiobook Review with Jacob and the team. It's a great show.
Oh, yes, of course. There you go. There's your audiobooks.
There you go. Not only did you get an audiobook review, you got a plug for shows. I mean, what more do you want from me around here?
Do you know what I did last night, Steven Scott, for the first time? Yeah. I came out of the shed and I said, that's it. The WhatsApp beta, after your rant, and I said, oh, shut up. It's a beta. It's fine. Is driving me absolutely nuts. ... It's awful, right? So I said, you know what? Don't complain. Tackle the problem. So I went on to NVDA
Be the
Access.
change you want to
Yes.
see in the world. I think that's right.
See?
I saw that on LinkedIn by a bragger.
You're going to get in trouble if you keep saying that. You know that, don't you?
I don't care.
Fair
I
enough.
genuinely don't care.
I went on to find the NVDA add-on development guide. So I've been reading up all about how you develop NVDA add-ons. It was incredibly interesting. All programmed in Python,
I believe,
by the way.
just to repeat my good friend over here. Yeah, sorry. Please carry on.
Totally over my head, by the way. But
Really?
really good guide they've put up. And if you just Google NVDA add-on development, you will find the guide. Really good. Hey, why not?
If you're struggling to sleep, that's the book for me.
Listen to me. Look, if it's not magic, people do create these things. It's not beyond us.
Smart people, not us. Well, you're going to start creating add-ons. Listen, Michael Babcock sends me a message the other night saying, hey, you should get into this VS Code and, GitHub Copilot Pro Plus.
Yes, it can write NVDA add-ons for you. It can create Python
but I'm not
code.
going to do it. Are you kidding me? I've got no idea what I'm doing. I struggle to get around Edge, the browser.
Do you know why you have no idea? Because you haven't read the development code.
Oh, well, that will sort it all out.
The very first sample it gives you is just press NVDA A and it will beep for 1 second. I mean, it's really easy, step by step like that. And it just gives you the code. It explains each line of the code. I'm really into it. At least I was last night. Today, I'll totally forget about it and never go back to it. Yeah. But the point is, I made a stand. I'm
right.
I'm a hero.
So I don't know if that classifies as hero status.
You know what? I am, though. I'm really interested in this. If there's anyone out there who can mentor me, if there's anyone who can maybe hold my hand through this process, I'd be
Whatever
really
you do,
interested.
Can I just say to all future mentors, don't email them because you won't get any.
No, that's true.
As long as you don't email, send WhatsApp messages, or get in touch in any kind of way like phone or text, you'll be fine.
Can I just say, I'm actually on top of the WhatsApp at the moment for the first time.
Why is that,
ever? Because you shouted at me and made me do it.
And because we had to bring someone else in to help us out a little bit. That's right. And, and so I said, before we do this, let's clean up a little bit. It's a bit like when the cleaners come around to my house. I always clean the house beforehand because I want to make sure it's as clean as possible because I don't want the cleaners to think I'm dirty.
Yes, well, you are. But yeah, that's the point is, hello, Chris from Bristol. Hello, Aya from Canada.
I heard
others as well.
I did hear Aya's message. Aya, hello to you. Apparently, you sent her a message in return. She was very excited about that because she heard from you. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's great. Very kind words. Everyone is so nice on WhatsApp, I've got to say.
She said she felt like she was talking to a celebrity, and I think she said she felt like she was talking to a celebrity. In the sense of it's like talking to a waxwork of a celebrity. Yeah.
Well, we won't go into that, but just hello everyone. Yeah, I'm on top of WhatsApp. Send in WhatsApps.
I'm being so cruel to you today, and I don't quite know why. I think it's because I've been listening to the tapes all night. You know what's interesting, right? So in Audible, you can have the book go at 2 times speed. And I must admit, it was weird. I must be listening to things too fast because when I put the book on at first, I thought, I can't listen to this. It's too slow. This is just torture. Isn't
it so? It's so strange that when I'm doing editing, I speed it up, and then you go back to normal speed, and you think, oh, what's wrong with this now? It sounds all slow down. But it's not. It's normal speed. You just get used to it. I heard that isn't Audible now part of Amazon Music? So if you've got an Amazon Music subscription, you now get Audible. I don't know if that's just country specific, but that's definitely the marketing I'm seeing now.
Could well be, yeah. I think I did hear something about that, but I don't know if I've got an Audible account and I pay for. I actually just buy the yearly credits because it's just easier, to be honest.
Doesn't listen to audiobooks. Let me just point that out.
No, it's not for me. It's for my wife. Are you kidding me? I don't read a single book. Every book on there is true crime, prisons, murderers, serial killers.
I listen to, sometimes walking on Sarah listening to a book, and it's utterly horrifying.
Horrible stuff.
I know, yeah. She always listens to serial killers. It's like, I've got a little note on my desktop just saying if I disappear.
Yeah, I know. Oh, listen, we're all the same. All men are quaking in their boots because women are tooling up with information on how to dispose of bodies and how to deal with crime scenes.
Anyway, That's
a
cheery start to the show.
I wasn't really helping by adding the tapes to my collection, to be honest. Because immediately when I told my wife this morning about it, she's saying, yeah, I want that. I definitely want to hear that book. But what was interesting was it said, if you listen at 2 times speed, the book is done in 4 hours. And I thought, do you know what? That is appealing to me. Because I could possibly get through 4 hours. But when it says like 50 hours or 60 hours of a book, you're like, oh, forget it. There's no chance.
Oh, come on,
not going to happen.
Steven. All right. Okay. Well done. You've made a start. Like me in add-on development.
Yeah, that's right. We're both heroes. We've both begun.
I'll never go back to it.
Both begun a long journey that will probably end around now, I think. Yeah, I think it's done.
Email. We get email. We get your email every day.
Ding dong.
Here's your mail today.
Right, let's get into the emails because it's not like we've got any. Let's start with Kerry.
Evening, fellas. It's Kerry. I thought I'd jump in on this whole Oakley's meta. Exciting stuff. I am genuinely excited. I, as a blind person, love a wraparound sunglasses. So, for me, Oakley's, I've been waiting for this since they started this whole Meta Ray-Bans partnership. And I just said, if they bring out Oakley's, I'm in, because I've worn Oakley's for a number of years, because when I'm out in the sun, I just prefer a sunglass that wraps around. Although I like my Metas and I would never get rid of them, I am so there when the Oakleys come out. I'm so there.
Yeah,
I am on their MVP list already.
Hang on. Hang on though, Kerry, because I got some bad news for you, I'm afraid. There's no wraparounds when it comes to the Oakleys. Sorry, no wraparounds at all. And Kerry clearly knows about this because she sent a follow-up message.
Oh, that's disappointing. No wraparounds. Really? Oakley? That's what you're famous for? Come on, deliver something different. Maybe they can't do them on that type of lens because of where the camera is. I don't know. I'll wait and I'll wonder then. But I'm having some issues with Metas anyway. Every time I make a phone call on any platform, the audio immediately switches from my headphones or glasses to my phone speaker. God knows why. If anybody does, I'd like an answer.
Yeah, so would I, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I know it's the same issue for a lot of people out there. I mean, I'm having it all the time when I try and call Shaun. I think he does it. I think he's been in his development book figuring out how to break my glasses.
Every time you call me, it's just, oh, wait, hang on, wait, hang on a minute, wait. And it's just 5 minutes of you faffing about, to be honest with you.
That's exactly what it's like with you. It's calling you.
It's not.
The whole conversation we spend, the first 5 minutes is like some kind of handshake thing going on. But hang on, no, wait, hang on, no, speaker, no, RB Meta. That's it, double tap. Oh, the focus is lost. Hang on, wait, stay, wait. And then eventually we connect.
I haven't had this issue of the call coming through the phone rather than the glasses, but you're right. It's a common issue that I've heard a lot about. And I can't figure this out because I keep thinking, well, maybe this is the audio call routing. You can choose between automatic or the earpiece or speaker. You know, when you, the proximity sensor, you must have played that game before where you put it to your ear and it's on speaker and deafens you and then you take it away and then you put it back. I got a feeling it could be something to do with that, but I'm sure you've looked into that already. It's just another one of those weird inconsistencies with the Ray-Bans, right?
Looking into it, research. Are you kidding me? Have we met?
Okay. If anyone does know the answer for Kerry, then please get in touch. feedback@doubletaponair.com.
Yeah, like, Meta. Any ideas? I know you listen, so, any chance you could maybe figure this out? I do think, I honestly believe it's probably to do with a Bluetooth connection being lost somewhere along the way and it's not reporting it. Because you do hear...
I do not believe that's the case.
I think it might be. Having no evidence to the contrary, my lud, I think that is absolutely the case. Because, you think about it, my phone and because your phone might be in a bag or it's in your pocket when you're out and about. So perhaps the connection's being interrupted somehow. Wouldn't be impossible.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I mean, anything's possible at this stage. Who knows? I will say, have you gone into your settings and then Bluetooth and then go to the Meta Ray-Bans and you can set the device type in there? As in, are they headphones? Are they speakers? Are they even a headset or something else? I don't know if that makes a difference. I haven't actually found what setting the device type does.
Well, hang on. What's yours set?
Maybe, I have no idea. Whatever the default is.
Right, okay, so you haven't changed it?
I don't think so.
Okay, that'd be interesting because if someone has and it works better, then maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, if it's set to speakers, would that? Yeah, I don't know. Basically, we don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kez. You know what? It's so
Kerry.
interesting. I've heard so many. Or Kez.
Kerry. Kerry. It's Kerry.
We've
It's more Irish,
so many
isn't it?
people have been saying, I can't wait for the Oakleys because I really like the wraparounds. And even
no
with the new
wraparounds.
ones, they've just announced no wraparounds. I think she might be right, though, with the... maybe it's to do with that design. If you think about it, they're very curved for wrapping around your face. Maybe the camera placement becomes more of an issue.
Well, I had heard the rumor was that they were going to put the camera in the middle of the wraparound, right in the middle point, which would make sense, and that would maybe be better for us, actually. I think it'd be really popular if it came out, but again, these are not assistive devices, right? This is actually where the solos, I think, could be quite good because the thing with the solos is you get different types, including wraparounds. Now, the wraparounds are not available from Ally solos, right? Because they seem to have I think it's 3 different options at the moment. If you buy the solos glasses themselves, the solos Ergo glasses, you will get a bigger range of choice. Of course, you don't get Ally built on there. So, clearly there are the options. It's just that hasn't traveled through yet. So again, it's all about feedback, right? If enough of us are saying, look, we want this, then, it wouldn't be impossible for Envision to go to Ally or to whoever it is, solos, and say, we'd like some wraparounds, please, and then build that in. But again, it depends where that camera sits, but it must be in there because that has the camera in there somewhere.
Yeah, we want wraparounds. I just think they're cool. I would have thought the Oakleys would be more likely to have wraparounds, to be honest. I know you said these aren't assistive tech. Of course not, but these are fashion conscious. These are designer eyewear. So, of course, they should have more. They all pretty much look the same as far as I can tell, or they've been described to me.
Yeah, I think it's you've basically got a square style or a more rectangular style. You've got the rounded designs.
Yeah.
Not a huge... I mean, you're right, actually. Considering the ranges we're talking about, considering what Oakley are known for, you would think that they'd be more leaning in. But look, this may all come in time. Look, they're going to roll this out in time because, of course, they're not going to do it all at once because that means then everyone spends their money and goes away. If they continue to bring out new things, then we'll all go, ooh, and then we'll go and buy it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a new pair every time they bring some out. I don't think so. With that, Kerry, you could also go the way of the new clip-on side blockers for the Meta Ray-Bans, even though Steven did say that they are very rattly. In fact, I can confirm they are not. They are rock solid. You just
said that.
Clip them onto the side of your Meta Ray-Bans and they will block out the sun from the sides.
No, they're very good.
There you go.
That's one option for you, Kerry, which I hope you hear this because the high blocks, as they're called, and it seems to depend on where you go, depends on the spelling of that. But the most successful I've found with the spelling is all one word, HIBLOK, high block. And if you search for that, there's a range of different things. They do a fan for the Meta Quest 3. I don't know how that works exactly, but it's like some kind of clip-on fan that goes with it. Keeps your eyes cool. I understand that,
though. Oh, no, those headsets do make you sweat, especially if you're playing Beat Saber or one of those active games. Who wants to play a game where you actually got to move around?
I know, it's
sort
ridiculous,
of defeats the point for me.
That's why I had Euro Truck Simulator for. I could sit back and drink my drink.
Exactly.
My flask of tea, my sandwiches on my seat next to me.
Ah, beautiful.
Poor deluded man.
Let it go, Stephen.
I know. I miss it. I miss my game. I miss my trucking people.
Don't get maudlin. It's all right. Come on, move on.
Right, let's move on. Kevin is up next.
Hi, Steven and Shaun. Well, I must be living a charmed life here in Cheshire. I hear of so many problems with email clients, Outlook, Windows 11 start menu with NVDA, and even issues with Microsoft Word. I think I've lived a charmed life because I don't have any problems. How, you might ask? Well, I cheated.
Hey!
Sort of.
Oh.
For my emails, I use Mozilla Thunderbird, and it just works. For my documents, I write with Jarte. And okay, it doesn't have some of the more advanced formatting features of Microsoft Word, but it does everything I need. And finally, that pesky start menu. Well, I really have cheated here because I use OpenShell. Now, OpenShell will not suit everybody, but it gives me a start menu like the Windows I worked with in my cited days, and it just makes things easier for me. So there you are. I am a mature user of Windows, just making life that little bit easier. But guys, I love the show, the tech, the interviews, and best of all, the rants. You make me smile every day. Keep up the good work, and great news that you have been signed up for season 9. Kevin.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Kevin.
We were quite
Very
relieved
nice.
as well, to be honest, when we heard the news, because we
were.
You never know, right? You never know. I mean, who knows
We
what
were waiting. Oh.
Well, I know you guys love it, but the higher ups, they're like,
Yeah,
So, we're very, very pleased to hear that we've made it another year.
Another year. Skin of our teeth.
You go first on this, because there's a lot to pick up on in that.
No, I just wanted to say, it's so funny you mentioned Word, because I actually got rid of it the other day. I got rid of it from my iPhone, and I got rid of it from my Windows computer. I never use it. Absolutely never. And the thing I really miss is WordPad from Windows, because that could open RTFs. It had all the formatting and layout options. It was great. I have got no need for the power that Word gives you. I totally understand, for work and whatever else, and if you need it for your use case, absolutely. I've got no need for Word whatsoever. So I don't know of any of the issues that people may be complaining about. For me, Notepad is usually more than enough.
The thing I hated most about Word, and it happened a lot to me, was, and I know there's keyboard shortcuts and ways out of it and all the rest of it, but again, if you don't know at the time, you get stuck. And what would happen is you'd open up a document, you'd be wanting to work on it. Usually it'd be something maybe you needed to sign.
I think I know what you're going to say. Go on.
And it would say protected view. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? And basically it means you can't do anything, right? You've got to unlock the document first. Well, hang on, I opened the document. What's protected about it? I couldn't understand
It's
this.
not yours.
Yeah, but so that's what that was all I could really say. Because I had no idea. So it's just that's it. Forget it. Send it to Ira. Make them do it, and that was it. Problem solved.
That's
improved. My cheating. I cheat too, Kevin.
Get someone else to do it. That has improved. It used to say that protection mode or protected.
Protected mode, yeah.
You didn't know what to do, but now it does. I think it tells you. I just usually hit escape and I can read it. At least I can't remember now.
You can read it. You can read the document, but you just can't
change it.
And there's some way. I know that you're all going to write in now and say how to do it is this, and that's good. Please do.
Oh, please do. Why not?
Yeah.
It's a tip.
But because I have no idea. But I'm with you. I don't use it. I don't. The only thing I use is Outlook, and the only reason I use Outlook, I tried Thunderbird. And I may go back to it. I may go back because I did use it with JAWS, and I'm now with NVDA at the moment. I say at the moment because, you know what I'm like. But, at the moment I'm right into NVDA, and there is a Thunderbird add-on for it. So I'm kind of keen to see what might be possible with that and see how it goes. Because, I'm not wedded to Outlook. Certainly not anymore. There was a time I was, but not anymore. And so I would be happy not to pay, what is it, £10 that I'm paying? It's gone like $13 Canadian now a month.
It went
Microsoft
up when they
Office.
added Copilot 365, didn't they? So even though you can get rid of that, opt out of it, but I believe you can. Yeah, I don't know. I still pay for it anyway.
Well, there's a free option, but the free option's web only, right? See, I know I'm not prepared to do that at the moment. I know, don't start writing in. I know it's accessible and I understand all that, but again, there's only so much energy I can afford to a task in a day, and if every single time I go to do something, I've got to learn a whole new interface to do it, forget it, right? I'm with you. I'm using Notepad. That's all I ever use.
Yeah.
I use Notepad. What I do generally, if I'm writing a long email to someone, I'll open up Notepad, I'll write it in there, I'll then throw that into ChatGPT. I could throw it into Copilot, actually, the more I think about it, but I use ChatGPT because I seem to default to that. And I'll get it to check for grammar and spelling and all that kind of stuff. And I love that. And then, that's it. I just take that straight into my email, and I use Outlook at the moment. I might look into Thunderbird, though. The benefit of Outlook is, of course, it's across different platforms. But what kind of bamboozles me is that, and it does bamboozle me, that on iPhone, bamboozle. Word of the day. And what throws me is that I go to my Mac, I go to my iPhone, and I install Outlook. And I don't have to sign into anything. I don't seem to have to sign into this Office account to get access to it. But when I go to the PC, I absolutely do have to sign into a Microsoft account to use it. I don't get that. What's going on there?
Oh, yeah, ask me. I've been having issues. Every time I opened up Outlook since refreshing my laptop, it says, you have a Office 365 subscription on this account. Okay, get started. And then it says,
Nothing.
okay, now restart Outlook. Okay, restart it. And says, yeah, this isn't authorized. I don't understand. It said that for ages. You came in and actually fixed it for me. I left you to it. I left the shed and just left.
I uninstalled Office. I reinstalled it from a different setup file because this is another thing. I mean, if you've got a business account, it's different to having a regular account, to having a personal account. It's so confusing. Honestly, it's
I was just
so.
using
And
the
you've
one-
got 2 versions of Teams on your computer as well because there's a home version, there's a business version. It's so confusing.
And all that is what came with the fresh copy of Windows. That's
Yeah,
nothing
that's right.
I've
It's all built
installed.
in. I know.
It's built in. That's the Outlook that came with Windows. Signing in with my Microsoft ID when you're setting up Windows, it should be set up already for me and authorized. It recognizes I've got a subscription for 365, but still just wouldn't do anything. Yeah, it drives you crazy.
Every time I end up on that
Are we
button,
just
that
having a
says,
whinge here?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, okay.
Every time I go near that button that says "Try the new Outlook," I always say to my computer, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!"
I actually got into it. Now since you fixed it, you've put me back on Classic. I actually got into the new one. I really liked that I could just arrow up and down through the list, and it would actually give me that audible summary of the email. I didn't have to open it up to read it. I know you say you can do that in Classic. Yeah, but it doesn't do it by default. It did with this one. I actually preferred the new one. Obviously, you got to learn all the
So now I fixed it for you. You're still
shortcuts.
complaining. Still moaning.
I would like to go back to the new one. Look, Classic's
That's your
gone. Stop
computer. You
living
can
in
do what the hell you
past.
want. I don't care.
Yeah, but if I do, then it doesn't work.
It's like, well, I can't do this now because Steven set up. No, just do what you want. I don't care. But, I just, for me, I know at some point I'm going to have to get into this new Windows or new Office, I should say. I'm just not there yet. And look, I think of all
Do
the
you?
people.
Why?
I'm not interested. I want to do my emails. I don't want to sit and learn a whole new thing. I want to get my emails. It's hard enough to keep on top of an inbox.
Oh, sorry. Okay, when you say you got to get into the new Office, you mean get into the new
Outlook. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were. I need to learn Word.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
All right, well, I'm just picking you up.
Okay, good. Okay, look, let's get another email in because this is what happens. We sit here like this, like two old
Thank you,
grumpy
Kevin.
men.
Well done.
And
OpenShell,
nothing
classic.
happens.
Haven't heard of it, but it's very good.
No, that sounds interesting though. I like the idea of going back to the old Windows, I guess XP or even further back start menu.
Classic start menu, sort of. It reminds me of that sort of thing. Everyone was going to that from, was it Windows 8 with that terrible start screen and
Dreadful.
awful times.
Okay, let's go to Trevor, who's got a question.
G'day, Steven, Shaun, Laura, and Double Tap team. One of my reasons for wanting to live in a rural town is access to all the outdoor activities it offers. It's taken me a few years now to get comfortable with having to navigate by cane using the proper tip for the task and learning to use those daredeviling skills to recognise natural and made markers. I'm no super fit freak. We're the same age as Shaun, but I do miss the activities of the great outdoors and have made it one of my personal goals to get back out there. You and the Double Tap listeners have been teaching me a lot about the availability and lack of when it comes to accessible tech. I know I still have 700-ish back episodes to go through, but I thought I would ask if you or the listeners could give your recommendations on accessible recreation GPS tech. The review of Stellar Trek was a great spark. The combination of accessible wayfinding tools got me wondering what other accessible rec tech there is out there that actually works for us. My first goal is to just get back on the water and get paddling again. Nothing fancy, just up and down the shore. I'm not kidding myself. I know this is a huge challenge, even having paddled these waters my whole life. I've got the right gear and know how to be safe. I just need the right tech to assist me. My initial searches were for audio prompt GPS devices for water recreation that were also affordable, up to $600. Most only offered GPS that would go bing if going off course or approaching a waypoint. More features and audio assist usually cropped up around the $1,500 price point and did not read as fully accessible. I double-checked this with Gemini and was assured that while these more expensive devices did offer more features, they were not fully accessible for my specific basic needs. One of the Garmin paddling GPS that goes bing for $100-ish provides bings when going off course and to notify of waypoints. Failing a more accessible solution, at a reasonable cost, without features I don't need or can't access, this device uses simple buttons. My thought was I could set a series of waypoints as a boundary line to keep me from going too far out and rely on the waypoints to notify me when and where to come back into shore. When Yusuf, apologies Yusuf, I'm spelling your name wrong, gave his review of the Apple Watch, it got me wondering if there was a waterproof watch with the accessible features I'm looking for. So I opened Gemini and asked for a waterproof watch with GPS, ability to mark waypoints and routes with audio prompts. It took a few minutes, but I was happy to hear there were several options. The least expensive of the lot was the Chorus Apex 2 for $650 Canadian. Not only does it have the audio prompts to tell me when I'm off course, but it apparently provides audio prompts for features and settings, with a ring around the face which you can turn to change through feature sets. On reading the site, I learned it was good for on and off water, exercise training, health and heart tracking, and it's possible to create routes on trail and street maps, which you can then upload to the watch. I'm still in relearning the world starter phase, so I'm not back to work yet, so my budget is almost non-existent, so I have to pick my tech carefully. One of the things I'm learning from you both and your listeners is that there's a lot of really great tech and apps out there, but you have to pick what suits your needs best because there can be a lot of overlapping features or functionality, as often as there's misleading and false promises about accessibility. If you feel this is a suitable topic, I was hoping you could offer some suggestions on accessible tech for outdoor recreation on and off water that you've come across, and put the question out to the Double Tap listeners. Has anyone else tried or is using the Chorus, or a similarly accessible waterproof GPS device that they would recommend? Thank you. Steady on. Trevor.
Trevor, thank you for the question. Not one we can answer. I can tell you that right now.
Possibly the worst people to ask about outdoorsy.
Most landlocked people you could think of. But, look, I'm immediately thinking of our good friend, the original E.T., who has been out kayaking, has been doing this kind of thing for a long time. I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of, actually many people I can think of actually who are kind of more...
I can think of one straight off the top of my head. Kayaker. Who's
Mr. Kayaker,
who loves kayaking so much.
He calls himself a kayaker. Yeah.
I know he uses some sort of tech to, well, exactly that, keep him on course and make sure he doesn't go too far out either way. So I will get in touch with him directly and ask him. But off the top of my head, I don't know. But it feels like this should be possible using, a smartphone in a totally accessible manner. Yes, there's things like the Garmin watches and things like that. But as you mentioned, accessibility is never, ever great on those mainstream GPS devices. So I feel there's got to be an answer out there, and I'm sure either our listeners or I will ask Kayaker and I'll get back to you.
That's good. Great question, Trevor. Really love the question. And I love the idea of, I actually loved kayaking when I tried it. Really enjoyed it. Did a fantastic job. No, I did. I did for 6 weeks. This is all my wife, right? It was nothing to do with me. She said she wanted to try kayaking. So I said, okay, fine. And there's a rather amusing video someone took of me smashing into her kayak, which, kind of ended the whole thing. But, so perhaps I need waypoints for other people who are on the water at the same time. Look, again, all these things are possible, right? It is possible to do. I think sometimes we tell ourselves it's not possible, but it was a lot of fun. You would love it, actually. You would.
No, I definitely.
I think you would.
Let's be honest here. That would frighten me. That feeling of being out there in the open waters, that would scare me. Yeah. Now that I can't see the shoreline or land or anything, basically, I would feel like, okay, I could drift off to a desert island here.
And the problem with that being?
Unbelievable.
Right, look, let's take a short break. We'll come back. If you have got any suggestions, though, we'll give you some contact details so you can get in touch with Trevor and, of course, get in touch with us here at Double Tap.
This is Double Tap. We'll be right back.
Double Tap thanks Turtleback Cases for supporting this podcast and for making some of the toughest, most ergonomic leather cases for accessible devices. These aren't gimmicks, they're custom-fitted, USA-made carry cases for the gear you depend on, including the Selvas Sense Player, Blindshell Classic 3, Mantis Q40, Orbit Reader 20, and more. Whether it's for school, work, or travel, Turtleback cases are built to protect your device wherever life takes you. Get 12% off with code DT12 and enjoy worldwide FedEx shipping with full tracking. Browse now at turtlebacklv.com.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback@doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, let's get back to our emails and a question from Donald.
I'm a new listener to your show and I love it. You're always so cheerful. I'm a VoiceOver user and a JAWS user as well. I was interested in products like the Mac and Windows, but I'm not sure what to get. I'm experienced in JAWS, but I find Apple products easier to deal with. I ran into some through a lawsuit and I wanted to know if you can point me in the right direction. I'm a faithful listener to your program and I'm spreading the word at my job about your show. Anything you can help me with would be appreciated. Thanks, Donald from Oklahoma City.
Oh, Donald, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thanks for getting in touch.
Welcome to the show as well. That's so nice.
Welcome to the family. We
answer
are
that.
family. I shouldn't do that because my chair broke earlier, and I think it's
yes. If Steven disappears off screen, for those of you on YouTube,
or if you only see the sort of nose upwards, then you know something's gone wrong. I think my chair needs regassed. Is that a thing? Can you do that?
Oh, that sounds disgusting. Anyway, Windows or Mac? The age-old question.
Oh, it's a tricky one.
It is. And
it's for me right now.
Yeah. Stephen's been using both for about 50 years and still hasn't decided. There's no easy answer to this because it is very subjective, right? I know a lot of people, and I did this, right? I got my iPhone, was absolutely blown away by the accessibility of VoiceOver on the iPhone and said, this is it. I want to use a Mac. Never used one before. Windows all my life. I want to use a Mac. Got a Mac. Didn't like it. Really didn't like it. Couldn't get on with the VoiceOver, the interaction model and the keyboard. But I know lots of people have done the same thing and absolutely love it. So it's the key thing here is that we do have options. You've got to try it out. Simple as that. You got to try it out. You can always return these things. Remember that. You can try it out, see which one works for you, and go with that. I don't think you can take anyone's that one's terrible, go with this, because it may not be the case for you. Am I wrong, Stephen?
No, you're right. And it's often the case. And I think we're probably the least biased people when it comes to, well, maybe not so much for you, because I know you're less of a Mac fan than a Windows fan. But, I think we're fairly unbiased in this because, I have both literally in front of me as I speak to you. I've got both sitting in front of me. And so I go between them for various things each day. I have my needs on the Mac. I have my needs on the PC. But I often think to myself, the way to know where I stand on it is what do I take with me when I'm away from the house? Do I take a MacBook or do I take a PC laptop? Now, I solved this problem by going to see some by taking both because I thought, I honestly could not decide. I'm like, I cannot decide. I was like, okay, I'll take this one. I took it back out the bag and I'll just take both. And I only used the PC the whole time. I didn't use the MacBook much at all. Yeah, I think I used it one day. I thought you were going to
say you only used the Mac.
No, I don't know. I have a feeling that because I've used the PC longer without a screen, I never feel, that I'm trying to peer at the screen to see what's going on in the Mac. Oh, sorry, I'm always doing that on the Mac. I'm always trying to kind of like, hang on, what's that doing? What's it going on? Because I'm not listening to it the same way. I'm not doing it non-visually, and I need to do that. But
you're still in that visual experience because that's what you've used it in.
I've used a Mac since 1990, I want to say 3. And so, I've been using it that long that I'm so used to it.
Young.
That's right. I'm just a baby. And, when Macs are terrible, basically. And they were pretty awful back then in the sense that, you couldn't cross-platform. I mean, the idea of Microsoft Word across a Mac and PC was laughable. Trying to share files impossible. It was just, they were not platform. They were totally separate platforms then.
Yeah, of course.
That's of course changed now. But the thing is that, nowadays I think, what am I using? What am I doing? And the things I do on the move, things like emails, things like admin tasks, even audio editing. I'm not doing video editing on the move. It's not what I do. So, it's those kind of tasks I'm doing all the time. And I find a PC I'm much better at. And I think that's partly driven by the fact that, that's what I did in my job at RNIB, and especially in the latter years when I was losing more vision. And I went to the screen reader in 2017, almost full time. I couldn't see the screen, just couldn't read it. And I couldn't do much with it. I wasn't very good with Windows Magnifier. I couldn't see it very well.
Yeah.
So I just ended up saying, well, this is the only way I can use this computer is with a screen reader. And so therefore that was kind of where I ended up. So I think I'm more comfortable when I'm out and about. I kind of know where I am on a PC. I've often felt that way. So that's how I always read it. It's like, what would I take with me from my point of view? Would I always have? I would take a PC. But again, I think it all depends on where you start. You started with Windows. You came to Mac. You couldn't get your head around it. And I've heard that story many, many times. People who've gone out and bought a Mac and they say, I love it. I think it's a great machine, but I just can't get my head around this.
There's so many things I loved about the Mac, by the way. I just thought that the audio subsystem, getting a bit geeky here, but it was absolutely fantastic. The way you can have, the camera shared amongst apps, which you can't do in Windows currently. There's so many great things about the operating system. But it was VoiceOver itself. And, like I say, the interaction model really bothered me. I know you can take steps to customize it to work around things like that, but I just never really got on with it. I think it is important. I mean, your story you just told there, Steven Scott, sort of highlights it's just very individual if you get on with it or not as well. But I will say if you think that VoiceOver on the iPhone is, sort of comparable even to macOS, I would say it isn't. This is a desktop environment, far more complicated, far more tasks that you need to do. You can get close to it, touchpad commander, keypad commander and things like that, but I will say it's a totally different beast, I think, anyway, personally. So it's not quite as simple as, I can use VoiceOver so well on the iPhone, I'm going to be great on the Mac. There's a learning curve there.
I mean, I'd go further. I'd say it's a very different experience entirely. I mean, just with the modifier keys, with the way that it works, so it is keyboard driven, of course, but it's, and I remember our good friend Robin Christopherson, he always used to say it's not as keyboard, I can't remember what he used to say, it was like not keyboard native in the way that Windows is. And I don't know if that's entirely true, but I think it's just that the way the implementation is with the whole thing, it's kind of like you almost need to have a bit of a visual understanding of the system in order to use it. At least that's my impression of it. Maybe that's because that's how I've come to it. I would be interested to hear from someone who's come to Mac cold, who's totally blind. That would be interesting to hear their take on it, because how did they get to know, how did they understand the interaction model? Because I often think if you don't understand it, you could be sitting on top of the button you want to press, but you just don't know it's there because it's in amongst something else. You just think, well, I've gone to a good example of this for many years was the App Store in the Apple App Store. You would go there and you would hear, let's say it was the WhatsApp app you were downloading. So you'd hear WhatsApp, get button, you'd hear it and you go, great, how do I press it? You couldn't, because you had to interact with it to interact with that group before you could get to that get button, because that button was inside that group. And all those little challenges, those little niggles, you had to know. And there was so much you had to figure out. And I think that's what puts people off. If you're prepared to put yourself through it, it's worth it. I think it's a great system. I don't find it particularly like it's a bad system. It's not. I think VoiceOver is great. I know a lot of people are down on it.
Amazing.
I like it. But I prefer every day when I'm doing stuff, especially set things like I'm doing, web-based or, email-based or using Audacity. And that's really all I do. Honestly, that's all I'm doing. I'm not going much further than that. I'm not sitting in spreadsheets all day. I'm not sitting in, I'm not video editing. I'm not doing those kind of high-end tasks. That's why when I was buying the little PC, I'm thinking, I don't really need to go and buy, as much as I wanted to go and buy the A9 Mega from Geekom, I'm like,
and
I don't need it. Yeah, I know, but I don't need it. I know, I'm not going to run an LLM on my own machine, so it's ridiculous. It's a waste of time.
This
thing works great.
With all that said, right now, if I had limited resources, I would still buy a Mac Mini. It's a great bit of kit, great value for money. It can run Mac. And if you're willing to put in the time, it can also run Windows in a virtual machine.
That's true.
You get the best of both worlds on a great piece of hardware.
And the Mac Mini's actually not that unaffordable. It's not as unaffordable as other stuff. It's got a good entry price. You can get it for a decent... You can often sometimes get a deal on it, especially on Amazon. You can sometimes get a great deal. So, it's all down to where you're at. It's often difficult when you're having to make that single decision. I would say if you were sitting 50-50 between the two and you're not doing major video editing, building apps, anything Mac specific either, like any specific apps or tasks or applications. That's really why I stay with the Mac, because there are applications that I can't use on the PC because they're not available on the PC. So, they're only on the Mac, and that's what I want to use because that's the best for me.
Yes.
But if that's not the case, if you're literally just emailing, if you're, writing documents, if you're on the web, if you're doing those kind of basic things, WhatsApp or, messages or whatever it might be, then I think a PC is enough for most people. And I think it's just then about what is the right PC. That was my challenge, really. What was the right PC to get?
Geekom A5.
Yeah, the Geekom A5 Mini was my
mini PC.
personal choice. Yeah, cheap and cheerful. Did the job.
Of course, there's Linux as well and Chromebooks, maybe.
Come on, get real.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, thank you for the question, Donald. Appreciate it. So glad you're listening. Really, really glad you're there. Let's go to Callum, our good friend Callum. He's up next with a little bit of a longer message, but this one will interest those of you looking for an ad blocker solution.
Hey, Double Tappers, Callum here. Just picking up on the question that came in, I think from Doyle, about which ad blockers are good to use. I'll start off by saying the one that I use, this won't work for everyone because it's a bit more on the technical / geeky side, depending on how you want to look at it. But the one that I use is called Pi-hole. Yeah, strange name, I'll give you that. But that's Pi-hole. The idea of this is that you run it on a Raspberry Pi, hence why it's called that. But the way this one works is you install it on a Raspberry Pi that you connect to your network. It can also work on any Linux machine, but the idea is that it's done on the Raspberry Pi. I think you can also run it on the Mac as well, with that being obviously Unix based, but I've never tried that. And what you do, it's essentially a DNS server. So for those who don't know, DNS is what translates a domain to an IP address. So for example, if you type in doubletaponair.com, that obviously has an IP address, and it's DNS that takes that domain and translates it to an IP address and then brings you back the web page. So the way that Pi-hole works is that you install it, you then set that as your DNS server, either on each device on your network, or you can set your router to use that as the DNS server for all your devices. And it blocks ads that way, because the way that a lot of ads work is that although you've gone to one website, they'll request the ads. I can speak. They will request the ads from a bunch of different domains. So say Double Tap, the Double Tap website had ads, which I don't think it does. But if you went to doubletaponair.com, yes, you would get that page, but it would also send a bunch of requests to, for example, let's just say it was pulling in ads from Google. It would also send a request to something like googleads.com and a bunch of others, wherever the ads are coming from. And the way that Pi-hole works is it will resolve doubletaponair.com and give you the page, but for all the other ads and tracking domains that it's trying to access, it will basically just go, nah, and drop those requests. So that's how that one works. It's not massively complicated, but you do need to have some basic familiarity of Linux and how to use the command line and how to install packages. But if you know how to do that, then it's pretty simple to set up. It's just a case of installing it, and then configuring the settings, configuring how much, kind of just how strict you want it to be, and then just either setting that as your DNS server via your router, which on most of them isn't too difficult, or just going into the DNS settings on whatever device you want to use it on and manually setting that to the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. The only reason I bring this up, and as I said, I know some people won't have a clue how to even get started with that, and I could go into more detail if people want it, but the only reason I bring that up is that I would be careful personally with browser extensions that get rid of ads, because yeah, they do work well, but the way they work, I think some of them will work in a similar way to the way that Pi-hole does in terms of blocking domains. But the way that a lot of them work is that they will take the web page itself when it loads up, and then strip the ads out that way. But what that means is they have a massive amount of visibility and control over the web pages that you're seeing, because obviously it's taking the page and stripping the ads out. In order to do that, it needs to be able to see exactly what you're browsing, what pages you're visiting, and even, control the page and make changes to that page. So a lot of them are good, and a lot of them are, sensible and, won't do anything dodgy, but there's no kind of guarantees of that. And maybe it's just because I work in cybersecurity, and that kind of industry teaches you to be a bit paranoid. But yeah, I would just be careful. Obviously, if you're not, if you just want something simple, then most reputable and well-reviewed ad blockers would probably be fine. But just keep that in mind if you're doing anything too personal, that the browser extension can see everything that you're browsing and visiting. So yeah, for those who do know their way around Linux a little bit and are comfortable trying out the Pi-hole solution, then yeah, hope that's helpful. Keep up the good show, as always, and yeah, speak to you soon.
Callum, appreciate that. I know there's a lot in there, but that was very, very useful advice. And how dare you come along here and try to turn this back into a tech show? I don't know who you think you are, Callum Stoneman.
Exactly. Changing the show.
Yeah.
What's going on here? No, very good and very well explained as well. Thank you, Callum. Yeah, I just, it makes me nervous going into that sort of stuff. But I do not like, I used to use browser extensions for ad blocking in YouTube. But I don't use them anymore because it does, as you rightfully said, sets you up for a man-in-the-middle attack. Because, especially the free ones, right? Because what's in it for them? They're processing all this traffic, and that needs to be paid for somehow. What's in it for them? Well, a lot of it is data brokerage. They will sell, hey, this person is browsing whatever, this is his interest. There's data brokerage there. So I've stopped using them myself. So, yeah, very good point.
Final word to George today, who wants to talk about password managers.
Hi, Steven and Shaun. This is George from South Africa. I just wanted to tell you about the password manager that I've been using for, must be about 4 years now. It's called Bitwarden. That's one word, Bitwarden. It is an open source password manager. And also it has various options for those of you who have the technical know-how to be able to host your own instance of Bitwarden. It has a browser extension. It's quite simple. I'll very, very quickly demonstrate. I know this is on a voice note. I haven't got proper setup here at the moment, but what I will do is it's quite simple. So I will go over here to Brave. I will go to a website, and I'll just find a search field, because it doesn't really matter where you do this. So it's quite simple. So this is, of course, a Chromium-based browser. So I'm sitting in what we will imagine to be the password field. And if I wanted, say, to fill in the details for this particular website, I could press Control-Shift-L. And now Bitwarden pops up and it's asking for my master password. So everything is handled by one master password. And you will enter this password, and then you will have access to either an entire list of your accounts, and you have a button you can press to autofill or copy some info to your clipboard, or you can just press Control-Shift-L, and if you have one password for one website, it will just fill everything in most of the time in the required fields. You can also save other things like ID documents, credit cards. And the nice thing about Bitwarden is that everything is encrypted. So nobody will be able to see any of your saved passwords unless, of course, you export them, which you can do, as you can on other password managers. Yes, I know a CSV file isn't the most secure, but you know what? It's a universal standard, and if you're careful and if you're not reckless with it, you can very easily ensure that you will at least have your passwords. You can even enter authenticator keys in here. You can enter TOTPs. You can enter even custom fields. Yes, you can create custom fields in here. There is an iOS app There is, of course, a browser extension, which works very, very nicely. I have been very happy with it. And of course, you can have two-factor authentication enabled as well. So yeah, that's Bitwarden. It's absolutely amazing. If you want a good free password manager, definitely give this a try.
Wow. That was
Free.
wonderful.
I'm in. I'm
Free.
downloading as we speak.
Bitwarden, that's for me.
That sounds really, really cool. Thank you. And before anyone emails in or gets in touch, we know the speech rate was incredibly fast there, but he still explained everything. I followed.
Yeah,
it
I
along.
don't think that was relevant to the demo.
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest.
right. But yeah, no, that sounds really cool. Thank you. I think I'm going to try this out because I'd like to just Control-Shift-L and you've got a list of the password. That sounds so easy because the way I've been doing it in the past is having to hit Alt and then navigate to the extension section in the browser, find the whatever password manager I'm using. So yeah, I actually quite like the sound of this one.
The only issue I have, and we don't have a huge amount of time to get into this, but the only issue I've got is what do you do with the existing? So I've got Apple Keychain is pretty much what I use for everything. So
Yeah, you'd have to do it all again.
Yeah, I can't export them, can I?
I don't know if there's an export. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, most of them, as he said, you can export the passwords into just a plain text file, basically a CSV.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it's somewhere
separated.
to start from, right? I mean, it's better than trying to go through it individually on the Passwords app, which is, of course, another
It
option.
makes me nervous just having a text file with all your passwords on just floating around somewhere.
Look, we're out of
But
time,
yeah.
but thank you for all the emails. I really appreciate them. Thank you so much, and do keep them coming. Double Tap Extras on over the weekend. Join us for that if you can. More feedback there. I'll catch you on Monday. Shaun Priest, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.